Another nasty mix moving in. Schools will once again have to make that tough decision whether to delay or cancel classes. It's something they've been dealing with a lot lately. We know parents are feeling it at home too. NBC Connecticut's Jeremy Chen is here to break down how it all happens. Jeremy, give us some insight.
Well, Keisha, certainly this winter feels so different compared to the last few years, and it's led to some tough calls for superintendents, but they're not making the decision on their own. I talked to Wethersfield School Superintendent Jeffrey Wibby, who says there's a 14 to 15-step process in his district, which includes keeping track of forecasts days before, consulting Public Works about the road conditions, along with contracted meteorologists who give them a closer look at the impact in their specific area, and making sure the morning and afternoon commutes are safe. Now, Superintendent Wibby says that if it's a storm that could change quickly, he'll wait and make the final call just before 5 a.m. the day of.
That 15-minute window is usually the sweet spot so that information gets on TV, it goes over the phone and email to our families in a reasonable amount of time.
And Superintendent Wibby says the call to keep schools closed is never taken lightly. Connecticut law requires 180 days of classes and have snow days built in for all districts into their schedule. So what happens when they run out? Well, days are added either at the end of the year or April break rather is cut by a day or two. Wethersfield is unique as they have 182 days of school and a 2-day buffer with snow days if need be. But the superintendent says this active winter hasn't helped.
We're kind of getting to the point where we're getting a little nervous now. If we have a couple more snowstorms, we probably would start thinking about that April break.
Private meteorologists like John Bajoni of Facts Alert Weather Service help superintendents make these decisions and give suggestions based on local forecasts and models, much like the ones you see on TV. He works with 92 school districts across the state. Bajoni says big storms like the recent blizzard were easy since we knew what was coming and allowed superintendents to make early calls. It's those smaller storms like last Wednesday and yesterday that are tougher to predict.
They can be very intermittent, and they can go through pulses of weak intermittent snowfall or precipitation to a pulse of briefly moderate or heavy.
And I'm joined here by Storm Tracker meteorologist Steve Glazier. So, Steve, two questions for you. First of all, do you agree with what the meteorologist just said? And second of all, as far as this winter, just how it seems like we've gotten so much snow compared to past years.
Well, to answer the first question, Jeremy, I do agree with John. You heard him right after the show. It's an inexact science. It's not precise. A lot of these small storms have kind of overperformed, meaning they've come in a little colder and snowier than a lot of predictions. So that's tough. And then we've gotten 52, 53 inches of snow this year. It's more than twice that we had all last year.
And that's a lot of snow, and I'm sure that has caused a lot of anxiety for parents trying to figure out whether or not they have to send their kids to school. Keisha, I know you're a parent yourself. I'm sure you have a lot to say.
2 school-age kids, and listen, it's tough for the meteorologists, tough for the superintendents, but for parents, we wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning having to put out fires, come up with a backup plan as to what we're going to do with the kids.
Exactly.
It is so difficult. The only people who aren't in the chaos, the kids. They get to sleep in.
Right. The ones that enjoy them. But you have to figure the rest of the day out. That's tough.
Yeah, it is. Real challenge.
Absolutely.
Well, remember, we can always stay up to date many ways, but one of those ways that we can is the NBC Connecticut app, the Storm Tracker app, keeps us updated. We upload videos several times per day. We have the detailed forecast, any weather alerts, and you can kind of look at many more weather details with that free NBC Connecticut app. Just scan that QR code right there on your screen.